here with another episode of our podcast, Primum podcast program. And today's guest, we're having Caleb Smith from Cardistry Talk. Caleb, first of all, thank you for your time. And I wanted to apologize for the technical issues that we already have in the first, with the first try. I was having start recording the first interview with Caleb, and then I was having trouble with my computer, and then I am recording this with my phone. But yeah, hopefully this one will work. Certainly, I apologize for that, Caleb. Well, after trouble that I have in here, how about can you tell the people? First of all, thank you for your time and for accepting this interview. And how about to start, if you can give them an introduction of who you are?
Yeah, for sure. No worries about the internet issues. I know I've been on the end of that as well. It can be quite annoying and frustrating, so no worries about that. My name's
Yeah,
Caleb. I've been running Cardistry Talk, which is a smaller YouTube channel where we do cardistry focused interviews. I've gotten the chance to interview Kevin Ho, Nate Lex, a lot of people that I've been a fan of, so it's been really fun for me. Started about 2 months ago, maybe. I'm not sure the exact time. I've also been working on a lot of cardistry moves myself, a lot of foot related stuff, a lot of foot stalls, and just trying to get into that creative area of making new moves. So that's kind of what I've been up to lately.
that's great, man. I love your content that you do on Cartridge Con. I was really happy for you for the interview that you made to Kevin Ho, which is amazing, man. I saw it, and it's really cool that people like you are doing this type of content because it gave us like more interaction in the
Mhm.
community, and gave us like some new ways of engage other people. And this is a really good content, a really good quality content that you're seeing. And yeah, man. First to start, can you tell me how you start in this, and everything, on cardistry magic? Because personally, I start first on magic, on school, and then I found cardistry. I don't know if you start the same, because every person starts differently.
Mhm. Yeah, so I started in high school, I think around my junior year. Um, I started with Magic. I'm pretty sure I saw David Blaine and I was like kind of hooked on David Blaine for a little bit. So there's like a month maybe that I did Magic. And then once I found out about cardistry, I kind of put Magic to the side and I was like, I like cardistry way more. I'm more of an introvert, even though I run a kind of talk show type thing. I'm more
Yeah,
of an introvert. So once I discovered cardistry and how it's more technical and it's more like personal, I really gravitated more towards that. So I did cardistry for about 2 years, and then around college, I kind of stepped away from it just to focus on my studies and focus on soccer, because I was playing soccer as well
yeah,
for the college. And then just recently, because of COVID, I've had a bunch of free time, so I jumped back into it. Um, I found myself being a lot more creative, and then I started the cardistry talk basically all within like a couple weeks of just getting back into it. I quickly fell back in love with it and just wanted to keep going. So wanted to give something back to the community as well because I felt very grateful for what it had done for me in high school, the entertainment it had given me. So yeah, I guess that's just a brief overview of how I got started into both interviewing and then also cardistry as a whole.
that's awesome, man. I also play baseball for
Mm,
college,
nice.
and it's really I know how tough it is, to manage your time with sports and college and cardistry. And yeah, man, and that's really awesome. Personally, I start to doing magic, and then I found cardistry. But yeah, talk to me about the name of your show, Cardistry Talk. It's a really good name, and it's how you got inspired on picking the name, how Cardistry Talk came to life.
Yeah, so it started off with I obviously COVID was going down and I'm working full time still. So I was alone, like in the room working basically most of the time. So I like to listen to podcasts. And like there was very few options for cardistry and magic to listen to. Like I listened to everything from Decking Around that they had at the time, and then there's like one or two offshoots. But there's nothing
Yeah,
really much there. So I sent over a message to the OPC group I'm in, the Chili Peppers, just asking
Yeah.
like, what's is there any cardistry related podcasts? And if there isn't, would people be interested in it? And immediately people were like, yeah, it's a good idea. I don't like they didn't know how many people would be interested in it, but they said like, yeah, that'd be cool. So um, they were very having that group to kind of bounce off ideas and kind of having the pressure of already told them an idea kind of made it happen. Because if it wasn't for the group, I probably wouldn't have done it. Especially Samuel Gordon was a big part of it as well. Him being my first guest. He's our leader or whatever, our group leader.
Yeah.
Um, Having him, the first two people, even Will Reed as well. The first two people I interviewed were in the Chili Peppers, and they were just a really easy person I could talk to that I already knew.
Yeah.
So like it really, without the Chili Pepper group, it probably wouldn't have happened. And then with the name, I took a long time trying to think of a good name, and I just couldn't really figure it out. I was thinking like Cardistry Chat. I knew I wanted to be Cardistry focused because, to be honest, I don't care too much about Magic. Um,
Yeah.
but I was toiling with the name for a while, and then I got Cardistry Talk, and I'm like, that's it. And then I thought of Cardistry Touch and how similar it is to that name, and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't. I was toiling to like, should I call it Cardistry Talk when it's so close to Cardistry Touch? And eventually I just
Yeah.
went with it. And yeah, not a lot of thought was put into the name. It's just there was a little bit there where I was scared of making Cardistry touch mad or something for having a name so close to it, which now no one's even
Oh
mentioned it.
man.
So
Yeah, I mean, I love the name, and I love the logo, and it's a really good content, to be honest. And talk to me, what is your creative process on how you make, in terms of the on their interview, in terms of setting everything up. Yeah, because obviously every person has some different creative process, But talk to me first about your creative process on cardistry, because you talked to me before that you were creating some moves
mm,
by yourself, and then talk to me about a little bit more on how you work everything with this with the program, because obviously you gotta like two separate routines to
mm,
do.
mhm.
Talk to me a little bit like that.
Yeah, for sure. So for the moves or for the actual cardistry itself, usually I'll try to relate cardistry and soccer. I'll try to mix soccer in as much as I can. So like I'll try kicking cards, I'll
Yeah.
try tons of foot stalls. I'm trying to mix in something that's kind of unique to me, which is soccer in this case, into my cardistry. And that's how I originally had a lot of creative ideas. Um, like I have a full leg spread and then I catch it all. Um, but for my creative process, a lot of times I'll just try random things. Like I'll try to think of the coolest thing that a cardist could do, and then I'll try to do that thing. Most of the time, it doesn't work. I would say
Yeah.
90% or more times it does not work. But every once in a while, you'll get something that actually works out, and it'll be really awesome. And then also, I'll try to stay up really late and then play the weirdest music I can find. And those two things usually will breed creativity for me. I don't know if it does for everybody else. Caitlin Chen said something similar where she'll stay up really late to try to create a move. And it's like it almost like gets this roadblock out of your head and just kind of clears things up. That's kind of what I've been doing. Staying up late isn't the healthiest option, but it is seems to be the best
No,
for me.
no, it's not.
So,
Yeah, man.
so
Yeah,
for
that's something cool, because personally it works for me, start doing moves, and then, when I'm most productive with cardistry is when you get until late in the night, and
mhm.
because you're tired. And that was something that she was talking to, because she is the leader of our groups. I'm on the avocado groups,
Yeah, yeah.
and she's you got a really good point, and that's really weird way, not healthy, But yeah, it's that's
How it
what it
works.
is, you know, because every person is different. And yeah, talk to me about the same the creative process on your program, because personally me, I'm just I'm just getting into this
Mhm.
because obviously we do kind of similar things. Obviously, I most of my interview are in Spanish, because where I live, our main language is on Spanish, and that's kind of my main focus. Obviously, I want to make some interviews to people like you, because this is a big community, and talk to me a little bit of that.
Yeah, for sure. For my interviews, usually, well, first off, I have to find the interviewees. So I have a list on Google Sheets of people that I would like to interview one day, and people that I
Yeah,
think other people would, not just me interviewing as well, but other that the audience would want to hear from. It's really important
yeah,
to consider your audience as well. But I have a list of like 50 people at the moment. Um, so I'll just kind of blind send a message like saying, hey, this is what I do. Here's some people that I've interviewed before. Usually I'll try to message them with somebody that they know personally, so that it's a
yeah,
little bit more easily to accept the request to do an interview if they know that their friends have done it. Um, so that's
Mhm.
kind of how I get my interviewees, and I've been surprised. Most people have responded back pretty quickly and have been really up for it. I think I've only had one person deny me, and then like two people um, say that they just didn't respond, basically. And I don't know if they even got the message because they're bigger artists or whatever. So
Oh,
I don't even know if they got it. But
yeah,
overall, most people have been really accepting and like the idea. And then once I have an interviewee, I'll do research on them. So I'll go to their Instagram and I'll look at every post that they've ever made just to try to get unique questions and get like maybe some old content as well, and just to get to know them as much as possible. So I'll go to their Instagram and I'll
mhm,
look at every single post that they've made, and it usually only takes like 30 minutes, and you'll get a lot of information that way. So usually that's how
yeah,
I'll make most of my questions, is I'll just go through their Instagram. Um,
mhm,
and then I record it through Zoom. I'll do a little bit of editing on Vegas Pro, which is the editing software I use, and then
yeah,
I'll post it. And usually I'll record it a week before is what I've been doing, and then I'll post it the next week so I have time to edit it and kind of promote it a little bit. Um,
mhm.
and then just hopefully people will enjoy it and chat and help out with the interviews as well. And I've been loving it so far. I've made a lot of improvements, and I'm really happy with how it's been going.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I really love the improvements you already made. Um, because I've been following your channel since you make the first interview, and it's really cool because you see the improvement that you've been
Mhm.
doing, and you saying, and me as a follower, is saying, "Oh man, this is going for a long time because this guy is making this, and it's really awesome." And personally, I got inspired by that. Let's say, hey, he's doing interviews on English, so. Uh, I can do the same, but in Spanish, because the community of cardistry, it's really big,
Mhm.
and it's really cool that people like you make these type of things, because they know each other. They get to more know each other, because hey, I didn't know about these people. I know for this cardist because I saw some video of cardistry talk, and it's really good because you get more interaction with the community, and it's really awesome that people like you make this. And man, for the next question, what was as you said before, there are people that been denying you, other people that been accepted. But for you, what has been the hardest interview that you made by far? You send the interview, they say, "Man, I gotta do this, and I gotta make this," and you try to do everything, and because for me, I've been really past some rough time doing this.
Mhm.
Because you already saw it. First tried to make an interview, and I was having problem with the Wi-Fi. But yeah, talk to me about that. What was been the hardest interview? And I'm saying hardest in general. You can talk in general. Hardest interview that you made by far.
Yeah, so I mean, just with the internet issues is something that I've never really like had to think about before. Making sure that the internet's
Yeah.
gonna be solid. So I had internet issues with
Hmm.
Kevin Ho and then Andrew Shea. Those were the two that I know
Yeah.
of. So that was kind of a little discouraging because like you'll be in the middle of having a good talk and then it'll kind of blurb out and then you'll have to contact them on different ways to get them back. So that's always a little annoying because it kind of just disrupts the flow of the talk. Some
Yeah.
of the hardest interviews, that's a good question, by the way. Um, one of them was Caitlin Chen because she was the first person I
Mm.
talked to that I didn't really know yet. So like
Yeah.
uh, Samuel Gordon, Will Reed, and Cam Toner, I kind of already knew to a somewhat extent. And then Small Hand Things, Caitlin Chen, she was the first one that I was like, I'd never talked to this person before. So it was a little weird talking to someone you've never met before for the first
Yeah.
time and like trying to interview them and like knowing a lot more about them than they know about you. Um, so she's super cool, obviously, but that was a harder one for me to first get used to interviewing someone that I haven't met before. And then just recently too, Kevin Ho interview was hard because he's the first one that I was like a little starstruck about. Um, in a sense, like the other people were cool and like I was fans of them, but like Kevin Ho was a big influence when I was first starting Cardistry. So it was
Yeah.
like I was a little starstruck, almost a little stiff when talking to him compared to how I was usually had progressed up to that point. So that was a
Yeah.
little hard, and also with the connection issues, like I said. Um,
Yeah.
but other than that, they've really came out recently, at least Nate Lex and Andrew Shea. I think they've come out really good, and I've really enjoyed talking with them, and it really flowed nice. I think personally.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are probably the hardest things to that I have to deal with or that I've had to deal with so far.
Hmm. Yeah, man. I know how it feels. My last interview, it lasts almost 2 hours, and I was like, man, I gotta do this right, because this man that I interviewed, he's from Mexico. He's in card. He's been in some controversy, with some issues that he had, and it was kind of rough for me, uh,
Mhm.
talking to them, and I know how it feels, man. I wanna talk to you about talk to me about the interview of Nathan Lex and Kevin Ho. Because to be honest, I love those interview, and I love all of them, because the most interview that I've been, my favorite interviews by far were those two. Can you talk to me a little bit like that?
Who was it?
Like Nathan Lex and Kevin Ho. Talk to me a
Yeah,
little bit about this interview.
yeah. So those are the two most recent ones. I'm always trying to improve. So every video I do, I try to add something. I've added a new microphone, a background. For Kevin Ho, most recently, I just added a little animation graphic for the
Yeah.
lightning round of questions. So I'm always trying to add a little something extra to make the show a little better every week. I can only do one thing with like my schedule, just because I work full time. But I'm always trying to add one little bit. And then with Nate Lex, it was just really easy to talk to him since he's just a talker.
Yeah.
He's that's what he likes to do. Not that that's a bad thing. I love him, but he just it's really easy for him to go on tangents and stuff, and so I'm just there listening and along for the ride like you guys are. So that's really just him being Nate, and then uh, yeah, and then Kevin Ho, he has this unique view because he's one of the original kind of like a founding father almost of cardistry. I mean, he's been doing it for
Yeah.
as longer than some people are alive that are just now getting into cardistry. Like he's been doing it for like 16, 17 years. He's there since the origins. So
Yeah.
he just has a unique perspective that I think a lot of people enjoy. Um, and that's really a lot of what I'm trying to look for as well. Is just unique perspectives about cardistry. Um, yeah, did that answer your question? I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of you're right, man. Kevin Ho has been a really good like influence in cardistry because everything that he has done in the cardistry, with the verts and with now with the playing cards and Nathan Lex, and that's some really good person, really good people that you finally get to talk to them. That's really awesome. And now talk to me about. I know you said that you were on the OPC groups. You were on the Chili Peppers. Talk
Mhm.
to me about your experience on that because I'm on the avocados, and to be honest, I love the 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 meetings. To be honest, that's really awesome. And I saw your video from the content, and
Yeah.
man, you rock. To be honest, you you were awesome.
Thank you.
We did our best, on the video, and but to be honest, your video was really cool. And talk to me about the experience of your OPC group. And to be honest, that's one of the coolest thing that I ever done this summer with cardistry. Talk to me about that. About that.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Organic Playing Cards started a kind of community,
Yeah.
a meeting place for cardistry or magic people, little groups of like 5 to 10 about, maybe more. So I'm a part of one of those groups. It's the Chili Peppers. And like before I got back into cardistry, I didn't know anybody else that did cardistry when I was like in high school. Part of that was I didn't have a
Mhm.
phone. So like being able to actually talk with people that know cardistry and kind of nerd out about it with them was really
Yeah.
awesome for the first time.
Hmm.
Especially like 5 or 6 years after I first learned. Um, so, and that's also kind of why I started the show too, was to meet other people that do cardistry. Um, but
Yeah.
the experience with the Chili Peppers so far has been really awesome. They're very encouraging. We meet like once a week to Zoom calls on
Yeah.
Sundays, and I've gotten to meet in person. Me and Samuel Gordon met up because he was in Dayton, Ohio, and we got to film a little small short video for his Instagram, and it was really cool meeting him in person and um,
Yeah.
meeting another cardist in person, like physically. So that was the first time I ever had that happen. Um,
Yeah.
so that was really cool. And then there's just a lot of ballers in that group. Like there's, if I may shout out some names real quick, like Hunter, Austin
Sure.
Byers, Rob Gore.
Austin is a really, Austin is a really good person. I met him before on Zoom calls, and he's a really good person.
Yeah, but they're great. They're great people, and they enjoy cardistry. It's always fun. I think there's like a core 5 or 6 of us that show up every meeting, so it's always good.
Yeah.
And then just being able to bounce questions off of them, like about not only interviews but cardistry. Like, is this good? Do you think
Hmm.
there's something here? So like with the
Yeah.
background that I've made for my videos, I posted that to them and asked for feedback, and then they gave me some feedback. So I had the cardistry talk at the bottom with like a YouTube emblem and a Instagram emblem, and they're just super helpful. And if you're into cardistry, you really should try to get into a small group because you'll be able to
Hmm.
bounce off questions, especially with moves. It's such a viewer experience. So what someone else sees isn't what you see. So having someone else's eyes on it to kind of help
Yeah.
make it better is super important to make really good, cool looking moves, I think. So being a
Hmm.
part of a group is really cool, and I've been I feel really blessed to be in the group that I am, and I really appreciate all the help they give me. And I'm a big fan of a lot of the work they do. So it's been awesome so far.
Yeah, man. To be honest, our meetings with the avocado groups are really awesome. I always enjoy being part of them. You know. But yeah, you told that you had the experience to meet in person some
Mm-hmm.
colleges. I never had that experience. Talk to me about that experience because that has to be really awesome to to see in real life
Mm-hmm.
someone doing cardistry. It's really
Yeah.
awesome. Talk to me about that.
Well, it's really cool. Not only like just seeing someone else, like even if they just do like a fan, you're like, oh, cool, I do that too.
Yeah,
So it's like you can relate to them, and it's really easy to nerd out, like I said. So like me and him, we grabbed some pizza, and then we went to a mall to Starbucks, and then recorded a little video. We only had like 3 hours, but I think it's awesome to meet someone that you know online in person, to
Yeah,
actually interact with them. I was talking with Sean O today about this. That's going to be what my next interview is, of like how awesome and important it is to be able to communicate with people, um,
yeah.
through internet is quite amazing, and being able to meet
Mm-hmm.
people through the internet, that you wouldn't have met before. It's truly awesome, and it's really a great use of this thing that we have, um, that's wireless and in the air constantly. Um, so yeah, meeting in person was super awesome, and I hope you get to experience that. I'm sure you hopefully will. It's really
Yeah.
unique and special, I think, the first time.
Yeah, man, it's got to be a really good experience because even when you saw it on video, you saw, those videos, or even in the meetings, you saw other people doing cardistry. It's really really good experience. And yeah, man, now talking to the going back to the program, what it's going to be, every person, in my case, I have my dream interview to make,
Mhm.
but yeah, can you talk to me a little bit like that, of that? What is like, I want to make this interview, and if I make this interview, I can do everything with this,
Yeah,
like having this goal, making this interview to this person. Can you talk to me about that?
yeah. So a dream interview, yeah.
Yeah,
Ke- Kevin Ho, for one, was probably one. I think he's really going to help open the
yeah.
gates for a lot of people to be interested in my podcast, saying like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, or I don't know, podcast, YouTube show, whatever you want to call it, just saying like, hey,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
been a cardistry god on here. So I think that'll open up things. But when I first started, like if I had a top three, it would have been Orbit, Brown, um, Burger, and Shano would probably have been the top three, and I've gotten Shano down now. Um, but
Oh, that's great, man. You're
um,
good. You're good.
so yeah, those are probably the people I most want to interview from like a personal standpoint. I always want to take into account the audience, the very small audience I have, what they want. Um, so I also want to take into account what they want most, but usually that it lines up with what I want as well. So
Hmm.
Shano was probably one of the most requested ones I had, and he was very open to it. He was very awesome to talk to. But overall, Orbit is probably my dream one. I love his brand. I think he's such a cool guy. I listened to his Decking Around interview or podcast, and like I could just
Yeah,
listen to him talk for hours. So I would love to talk to him. I'm a big fan of Orbit, as well as Organic Playing Cards. Those are my two favorite brands. I think I've
yeah,
said that a couple of times, so it's probably not a surprise for most people, but uh, he's probably my dream interview, that I would want to have. Who's
yeah.
yours?
Man, mine. Well, mine. One of them, I already did was with Enigma cards,
Mhm.
and that was the last episode. And then, man, I would say if I could make an interview to Dan and Dave, well,
Mhm.
man, that would be really awesome. I can even, if I do the interview to Dan and Dave, I can even stop doing this. Like I reach this, I can finally die happy.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would say Caitlin Shen, Small Hansing. I've been following her since she was the old profile magic
Mhm.
center.
Magic
And
Century. Yeah.
yeah, I already did interview to his Aspire playing cards to him, which was great. But yeah, man, I would say Dan and Dave, and I will also say organic playing cards. I haven't had
Mhm.
the chance to. Well, I already had the chance to talk to him on the meetings,
Mhm.
but having like this talk that we're having, you and me, that has to be really cool. And I saw it that I guess that you opened your program with that interview. That's some really solid way to open the program,
Yeah.
man.
Cam Toner was my third episode, I believe, or episode.
So,
Hmm.
but yeah,
For
really
yeah.
it's still a really good interview. Yeah.
Yeah, he contacted me like the first episode I did with Samuel Gordon because him and Cam are pretty close. He said, "Hey, I love it. If you ever want to interview for me, go for it." So that it kind of happened real quick and naturally, and I'm really grateful for him. I'm sure he would talk with you if you asked. Like he's a very chill guy, and he's really passionate about the hobbies. So, but yeah, those are some good choices.
Yeah, man. Well, just to finish, what are the upgrades that are coming for Courtesy Talk? Obviously, the ones that you can talk to me because I know that you've been dealing with some projects. And talk to me. What is the next that comes for Courtesy Talk? You know that you can
Yes.
tell me.
Yeah, no. I think there's only one thing I probably couldn't tell you. So like I said, I'm always gonna try to do one thing every episode. I have a DSLR camera back over there,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna set that up sometime. I'm gonna have to move my desk around, but I'm gonna set that up as my main camera, so hopefully the video will be a little bit better. I don't have any plans for the next interviewees. I have to probably cold call some people tonight and try to see if I can get somebody. So I can't
yeah,
say anything there because I don't have anybody planned up yet. And then, yeah, I don't know. I'm always looking for ways to improve it. So if anybody has any suggestions, always hit me up and I'm always going to be open to it. But I do want to try to work on editing in more photos and videos that are not just the webcam, but like kind of being able to
yeah,
show like a move or like an Instagram post through the video show. So I want
yeah,
to try to start editing more, slicing in videos into the the talks more. Um, but yeah, I mean it's gonna be a step by step thing. So we'll see where it
yeah,
goes.
man. Yeah, that's really awesome. But yeah, man. First of all, thank you for your time. Uh, this has been really fun times for talk to you. I always wanted to make this interview to you because I wanted to know your point of how you make this, and it's really fun because knowing some other people like this and doing what you do, it's a really good opportunity to that you can grow in the community. So yeah, man. Thank you for your time and thank you for accepting the the interview. And obviously, with everything that happens with the Wi-Fi problems and all that stuff, I want to give you thanks for your patience. And yeah, man. I hope that this is not the first and last time that we talk each other.
Yeah, no. Thank you for having me. Like I said, it's really interesting to be on the other end of the podium.
Yeah,
So it's cool trying seeing how it feels to be from the interviewee's perspective. Yeah, and thank you for making your content too. I know I can't really like understand Spanish because I'm not bilingual,
yeah.
so that's unfortunate. But I did like the Lance. I don't know however you say his name, but I watched that interview and I liked it. So um,
What was the same?
it's Lance, wasn't it? Um,
Lance? I made the interview for Fede Freringo was the first one. Then I made the Aspire playing cards,
mhm.
and the other one was 52 cards, and then the other one was with Enigma cards. That's I only made 4 episodes.
Okay. It was the guy with the
Yeah,
long hair. Um,
I was long hair. Ah, yeah, the first one. Yeah, it was.
okay,
I
what
think
was
that it
his
was
name?
with Fede. Fede.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know why I thought maybe his username's Lance. I don't know. But yeah, I like that
he's
interview.
from
That was nice.
he's from Uruguay, and
Mhm.
he's a really good card. But yeah, man, thank you for your time. And to be honest, it's been really good time to talk to you. I enjoy every single interview because, this with this whole COVID situation, we gotta find some way to, to spend our time, you know,
Mhm.
and it's a really good way to grow itself in the community. So yeah, thank you for being in this episode. I'm going to leave obviously Caleb profile in the description, and I'm always going to send post a link in here to his YouTube channel so that you guys can see his last interview with Kevin Ho, which was amazing. To be honest, I love it, and you can see how know a little bit more about Kevin Ho for those that you already don't know. And yeah, I'm going to be obviously the interview is going to be available on YouTube on my YouTube channel, and the first 15 minutes will be available also on my IGTV channel. So yeah, first of all, thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
See you guys.